So the biggest question I had about applying to university was which university would be the best for me. And to start with, I already have the privilege of knowing what I want to study in university, so that made it so much easier. I then opted to utilize UCAS to apply to 5 universities with top nutrition courses simultaneously. And to ensure a well-informed decision, I delved deeply into researching various aspects of the universities beyond its universities rankings. And so what I found was that in the UK, universities are evaluated through this thing called the Teaching Excellence Framework, also known as TEF, which assesses factors such as educational quality, student satisfaction, and more. And so with this, Newcastle University stood out to me. Positive student feedback across numerous platforms, its student-friendly atmosphere, it being a student-friendly city. It's also a member of the Russell Group, and of course, it was surprisingly the only university that gave me the unique opportunity for a placement year within my degree. And now, as a current student at Newcastle University, I can confidently affirm the validity of those reviews. The biggest question I had about my course in nutrition was what I'm going to be learning about. And so enrolling in a more specialized course such as nutrition, it definitely raised questions for me about the curriculum. Despite its niche focus, I wondered if the program would still offer a comprehensive understanding akin to broader degrees such as, say, biomedical sciences or business, which seems like a more generic degree. And so this got me worried. But fortunately, the structure of the first year modules, it laid a solid foundation by starting with fundamental concepts such as introduction to nutrition, physiology, before progressing into more advanced topics such as macro and micronutrients or sports nutrition. So the biggest question I had about university study was the uncertainties regarding the academic leap and the structure of university studies from high school. And so I had so many questions about, say, the difficulty levels, the disparity between the two educational systems, and the amount of independent study required. It appeared large. And the flexible nature of university schedules, unlike the fixed ones we had in high school, it scared me as it had very varied formats such as lectures, labs, tutorials, seminars. This just added more into the complexity. So when I started university, I discovered that universities actually build upon foundational knowledge. It starts with basic concepts and then eventually progress into more advanced topics. They also provide the course materials on a weekly basis, and so these weekly materials, I believe that it helps students to stay on track, and I personally find sticking to this schedule really helpful as it prevents work from piling up. Additionally, accessible lecturers and program leaders of your course, they would be more than happy to offer support whenever needed, which definitely contributes to such a robust student support system. The emphasis on foundational learning and ample support resources has definitely eased my transition into university study. So the biggest question I had about living in Newcastle was, how do I make friends? And moving to Newcastle, particularly as an international student from Indonesia, not to mention halfway across the world, it brought many concerns about integrating into a new social environment. However, the university environment actually proved to be very helpful in forming connections, as long as you remember that everyone is also having the similar experience and are also on the same boat. So my personal advice to making friendships is that as long as you stay open-minded, kind, and friendly, I'm sure that any environment that you're in will open opportunities to meet fellow students and friends like yourself from diverse backgrounds. Newcastle University also have a wide range of societies and clubs where I met some of my best friends and people with the same interests as me or even ethnicity. The biggest question I had about Newcastle University was, what was the university like in general in terms of overall atmosphere and student experience? And so rather than relying solely on institutional descriptions, I sought firsthand accounts from current students, as I believe that it would be more authentic and valuable to me. I eventually connected with a fellow Indonesian student who was pursuing the same degree through UniBuddy. Her positive portrayal of studying at Newcastle University, it resonated deeply and it instilled a sense of reassurance and confidence in my decision to enroll.